What's up, everybody? Damon and Marty here.
Hey!
PAXes. We just got to check out Severed.
Yeah.
This is the next game from Drinkbox Studios,
Yep.
makers of Guacamelee.
Yeah.
And their new game is just like Guacamelee.
It is not just like Guacamelee
It's
whatsoever.
I actually wasn't prepared for how different it was.
Yeah.
But I should say I loved it.
Yeah,
I thought
absolutely.
it was awesome. This is a first-person dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
actually.
like Etrian Odyssey. Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but a lot more, like, let me say, a lot more interesting than Etrian Odyssey, right off the bat.
Yeah.
But it has that sort of the same art style as Guacamelee.
Yeah, it has like a sort of a Mexican Day of the Dead. Not Day of the Dead necessarily, but it's sort of this magical realism, a lot of like pastel colors and sort of cartoonish violence.
Yeah, it seems to take place in some sort of netherworld. Your
Yeah,
family
yeah.
has been
You play this.
butchered.
You play this woman, this girl who only has one arm,
Yeah,
and she
she's-
finds a sword and goes around using the touchscreen
Yeah.
to sever things.
Yep. So yeah, I played through the whole demo, and I really, really liked it. The demo leads you up to the first boss fight, and then you gain a helmet, and
Yeah.
you rescue your brother.
Yes.
So I imagine progressing through the game, you're going to rescue
Two
the other members
members of
of your
your
family.
family, yeah.
But then you got to play more of the game
Yes.
beyond the demo.
Yeah, I got to go past the demo. Really interesting. So this is this game's coming out first for Vita, and it's almost all touchscreen based. You can actually play the entire thing on touchscreen if you want.
So even like moving?
Even moving.
Okay.
So, but naturally, the way we would move is you'd use the left analog stick to move, and the touchscreen stuff is you sort of react to how the enemies are reacting. So if an enemy is raising his hand up here, you swipe along in order to parry, and then you do like little quick slashes. And so you wouldn't think a touch-based game like this, like a sort of a swipey game, would have a lot of depth. If you played like Fruit Ninja, you wouldn't think there's a whole lot going on to it. But what I got to see is the combat sort of evolving and the upgrade system evolving, and the better you perform in combat, the more sort of ingredients you get to where you can combine them and upgrade certain abilities. There's one ability where enemies later on in the game are able to cast buffs on themselves. So there's one who has haste, which means their attack meter is going up super quick, which is tough when you're dealing with multiple enemies at the same time and trying to manage all of them. But if you sort of devour that enemy's ability, then you gain haste, and everyone's counter goes much slower.
But it's not really turn-based.
It's not really, no, it's not turn-based
Yeah.
at all. It is all real time. And so you're you're sort of surrounded by enemies, and you're looking at the bottom of the screen, and the iconography is all pretty clear, and you're like, okay, the guy in front of me isn't going to attack for a while, but the guy behind me is almost
getting ready
ready,
to
so I
attack.
need to turn around quick, stun him, and then turn back and take advantage of the guy in front of me. I got to see a lot of really interesting enemy types. Their attacks are really different. They all look visually very different. The boss fight we fought was sort of this crow
Massive
demon.
crows that formed into a behemoth.
And then when you would sort of slice him and he'd become vulnerable, but then all the crows would scatter and you'd have to worry about like 10 or 15 different enemies. Really, really excited for this one. We went in obviously excited because Guacamelee is incredible and we all love Guacamelee, but we didn't know what to think of this. And sort of going hands-on is the way to really experience this and understand, like, oh man, this is, they're about to go 3 for 3. Yeah.
Super cool. It's called Severed. Next game from the makers of
Yeah.
Guacamelee.
Later this year.
Due out later this year. Stay tuned for more from PAXes 2015 here at IGN.